I was married to my wonderful wife for 6 years. We were literally soulmates, perfect for each other, but unfortunately my parents didn't approve of the relationship. I was called a pedophile over this, which quite frankly is ridiculous as she is mature for her age. Anyways, what I didn't realize until 5 years into our marriage is how much of a psychotic bitch she is. She has these unrealistic demands such as wanting to be treated equally, asking for respect, etc. So bitchy that we got into a fight over her bratty, bitchy behavior, where she once again demanded I treat her equally. I calmly explained to her that she's a woman and women belong in the kitchen. Well, she lost it. She grabbed a knife and, like the complete psycho she is, she just stabbed me in the chest. Long story short, I ended up dying. Well, that little brat needed to learn a lesson. So I decided that from now on her house would be haunted. I would make her live in terror for the rest of her life. My mom believes I am overreacting, but my dad thinks I am perfectly justified and offered to help me get payback on this crazy bitch. So am I overreacting? In a shocking and tragic event that has left a community in disbelief, a man was fatally stabbed by his wife in what authorities describe as a domestic dispute gone horribly wrong. The incident unfolded late last week in a quiet suburban neighborhood, bringing to light the darker realities that can sometimes lurk behind closed doors. According to police reports, the victim, 34-year-old Michael Harris, was stabbed multiple times by his wife, 32-year-old Emily Harris, during a heated argument at their home. The confrontation escalated quickly, resulting in the fatal injury. Emergency services were called to the scene around 10:30 p.m., but despite rapid medical intervention, Michael Harris was pronounced dead shortly after arrival at the hospital. Neighbors described the Harris couple as generally quiet and reserved, with little indication of the turmoil that apparently led to this tragic event. They kept to themselves mostly, said one neighbor who wished to remain anonymous. It's hard to believe something like this could happen right next door. Michael and Emily Harris had been married for 8 years and lived in the same home for nearly a decade. Friends and acquaintances painted a picture of a seemingly normal couple, occasionally seen out and about or attending community events. However, recent months reportedly saw growing tensions between the two. Those close to the couple revealed that the pair had been experiencing marital difficulties for some time. Sources indicated that the disagreements ranged from financial stress to personal issues, and at times the disputes had become increasingly intense. Despite these problems, no formal complaints or police reports related to domestic violence had been filed prior to the fatal incident. Following the stabbing, Emily Harris was taken into custody at the scene and charged with second-degree murder. Police are conducting a thorough investigation to piece together the sequence of events leading to the tragedy. Early statements suggest the argument may have revolved around a deeply personal conflict, but authorities have not released further details. Detective James Riley, the lead investigator on the case, commented, "This is a heartbreaking situation for all involved. We are working diligently to understand the circumstances and ensure justice is served." The investigation includes interviews with neighbors, family members, and anyone who may have had contact with the couple recently. Police are also examining any electronic communications, such as text messages or emails, that could shed light on the relationship dynamics. News of the stabbing has rippled through the local community, eliciting a mix of sorrow, shock, and calls for greater awareness of domestic violence issues. Community leaders emphasize the importance of recognizing warning signs and seeking help before situations escalate. Local domestic violence advocate Sarah Mitchell said, "This tragedy underscores the urgent need for accessible resources and support systems for families in crisis. No one should feel trapped or alone in a difficult relationship." Several neighbors reported hearing raised voices or disturbances at the Harris residence in the weeks leading up to the incident, but did not realize the severity until it was too late. "I heard shouting a few times, but I never thought it would end like this," one resident admitted. Emily Harris currently remains in custody, awaiting a preliminary hearing scheduled in the coming weeks. Legal experts suggest that the case could be complex, given the nature of domestic violence and the possible presence of mitigating factors such as self-defense claims. Attorney Mark Collins, who specializes in criminal defense, explained, "When it comes to domestic-related homicides, courts will carefully consider the context. Was there an immediate threat? Was there a history of abuse? These factors will heavily influence how the case proceeds. Emily's legal counsel has not yet released a public statement, and it remains unclear what defense strategy will be employed. The community and family members await answers as the judicial process unfolds. While tragic events like this one are often seen as isolated, domestic violence remains a pervasive issue affecting millions worldwide. Experts note that physical violence is often preceded by emotional abuse, controlling behavior, and unresolved conflicts. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, nearly 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence during their lifetime. Despite this, many incidents go unreported due to fear, stigma, or lack of resources. This case highlights the need for ongoing education, community vigilance, and accessible intervention services, said Dr. Linda Reynolds, a psychologist specializing in family violence. Early intervention can save lives. Friends and family have begun to mourn the loss of Michael Harris, describing him as a devoted father, brother, and friend. Tributes have poured in on social media, with many expressing disbelief and sorrow. "He was a kind soul, always willing to help," said his sister, Amanda Harris. "We're devastated by this sudden loss and ask for privacy as we grieve." Michael's funeral service is planned for later this week, with many expected to attend to pay their respects. As the investigation continues and the legal system prepares to handle the case, the community is left to grapple with the consequences of this tragic incident. The Harris family, friends, and neighbors are mourning a life cut short, while also confronting the harsh realities of domestic conflict. Authorities urge anyone experiencing similar difficulties to seek help immediately. Support services, hotlines, and counseling are available to assist those at risk and to prevent